welcome home. Woo! Look at this screen. This is crazy. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cedric. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be checking out my brand new 2020 16-inch MacBook Pro. I haven't been able to produce in over a month because my current laptop, well, my old laptop now, I can say that, yeah, my old laptop has been acting up. So now, the new one's here. We're gonna get into details about the specs, why I upgraded, the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, because although there are a lot of positives, there are a few negatives I think you guys should know of if you're thinking of investing in a 16-inch MacBook Pro. And then we're gonna test out this bad boy in Logic Pro and Ableton Live. For those that are new to the channel, if you're into music gear, music tutorials, VST reviews, or live performances, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. So this is now my fourth MacBook Pro. I owned a 2009 13-inch, then I got a 2014 13-inch. I still use that whenever I go DJ. Third MacBook Pro is the 2012 15-inch, and I've been using that to produce. And January, February, it started acting up. It wasn't a big deal. March, April, it started really acting up, and then the last 2 months has been a disaster. But I mean, it's a 2012 MacBook Pro. I needed a new laptop, so here we go with my new baby. I upgraded to Turbo Boost. I went with 64 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory, 2 terabyte, and also got Final Cut Pro. I'm not showing you guys the price to brag or boast, because to be honest, I didn't want to pay that much. So I know I'm gonna get comments in the future about, you didn't need to spend all that money on a laptop. Why'd you spend so much money? My response to that is, okay, put it this way. Rihanna's keyboardist, his name is Monte Nubel. He might carry anywhere from 4 to 7 keyboards anytime he goes and he performs with her. Why does he use 7 keyboards? Because it helps him in his performance. It helps him sound that much better. If you've ever gone to a music festival and you've seen some of the top DJs perform, their DJ rig is anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000. And no one will ever go up to Calvin Harris and say, man, why don't you just use a $300 controller? All I'm trying to say is, sometimes you have to invest to have an advantage. And I'm not saying I have an advantage when it comes to other producers. I'm saying I have an advantage that I didn't have yesterday. The battery life on the 16-inch MacBook is about 11 to 12 hours on a full cycle, which is enough for me because I'm usually in a studio. I'm usually in my home studio. I mean, worst case scenario, like if I was traveling, I'll just bring a portable charger. The keys feel great. I'm coming from an older MacBook. The 2014 didn't have the touch bar. The 2012 definitely didn't have the touch bar. So having the touch bar is pretty dope. However, when I'm typically in my studio, I really don't even touch this laptop. I usually use a wireless keyboard and mouse. So what I want to do is I want to check out Logic Pro and see how far we can push the 16-inch MacBook before we start noticing any glitches or any freezing. I'm opening up Logic for the very first time and it's going through all my VSTs. This is the loudest the computer gets. Matter of fact, it's not charging. Just gonna connect the charger. Picked up a few accessories to help me with my workflow. This is a HDMI converter. So I'm able to connect 2 HDMI screens to my laptop, which is perfect because that's what I have here. Computer's starting to quiet down. I'm sure most of you guys are well aware the 2020 16-inch MacBook Pro requires USB-C. So I got a USB-C converter. This uses 2 ports, but it'll give you the power source, another USB-C connector, as well as 2 USB 3.0s. Yeah, I can also connect an HDMI source, and I can connect my SD card and like a smaller SD card, like the little mini SD cards. So it's pretty dope. And I was really worried about this. As you guys can tell, I use a lot of controllers, and I was kind of concerned that I'd have to get a new converter, but I'm able to connect that 8-port converter to the new converter I just picked up, and it connects seamlessly. So then I got the Lacy 4 terabyte external hard drive. Of course, these accessories are in the description below. So I'm just gonna open up Logic. And by the way, I get asked this question all the time. Man, what's the best DAW? What DAW should I use? And I tell people all the time, it really doesn't matter. That's like asking what's the best way to add to 4. Some people do 2+2, some people do 3+1. There's no wrong way. Whether you're using FL Studio, whether you're using Logic, whether you're using Ableton, Pro Tools, Studio One, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the end result. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever is best for you. So I just created this random track in like 5 minutes. Really not looking to produce right now. I just want to put down some chords, add some drums, add some effects. So I got 10 tracks in one rack. So in every rack there's output, 3 separate instances of Trillion, a Waves keyboard, 2 instances of Pigments, Omnisphere, and then I have a drum track that's just running audio. The track sounds kind of whack, I'm not gonna lie. I just wanted to put something together, and I did it in like a couple of minutes. I cap out around 80 tracks, and now keep in mind that's 72 VSTs with multiple effects. And I have 2 instances of Pigments in one rack, and I have 8 racks. So that's 16 instances of Pigments plus effects. If I was just running audio or less MIDI and more audio, I could probably get away with 100 tracks, probably even like 120. But I just wanted to see how much I can do in terms of MIDI, and I didn't freeze any tracks. That is overkill, but I did want to push the laptop to its limit. In Ableton, which is the DAW I use, I have 70 VST tracks opened up, and every track has some type of effect. But I got Heat Up 3, 2 instances of Pigments, Trillion, another drum loop, a drum rack, a synthesizer from Arturia, and 2 instances of Contact opened up. And so I just duplicated, or more than duplicated that, till we got to 70. It runs pretty smoothly. There are a couple negative things about this MacBook. Number one, cost. It cost a whole lot of money, especially the one I purchased. I watched a lot of reviews on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I'd say 95% of them were all positive. There was only one person that mentioned it. One thing he mentioned is the computer itself does get really hot. And I thought he was tripping. I'm like, man, bro, that's such a whack thing to say. Like, that doesn't even really matter. But no, it actually gets pretty hot. He was right. He wasn't playing. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably, I'd say like it's a 6 or 7. It gets really hot. Yeah, no, it's hot. I keep testing it out. I'm an Ableton user. I like to use controllers and keyboards, and when I'm in studio, which is where I produce 90% of the time, I'm not really physically touching the laptop. It's off on the side because I use a wireless keyboard and mouse. But if I was touching this keyboard on the regular, I would say it gets a little bit uncomfortable. The next con, I don't know if it was just as I was downloading all my software, because you know how it is. You spend 2-3 days downloading everything from your old MacBook to your new Mac. But one thing I found is, as I was downloading, sometimes I would go into Safari and try to watch YouTube. If it was a 10-minute video, in like a split second the video was done. Like, I really love watching a sports show called Undisputed, and their first opening segment is 20 minutes, and in a second the video was done. So I realized there's a glitch, and I think with a future upgrade they'll get rid of that bug. Yeah, so those were the 3 cons. So if you have a 16-inch MacBook Pro and you're noticing these issues, leave a comment below. Would I recommend this laptop to other producers? I've always recommended MacBooks. If you're gonna be a producer that's touching the computer a lot, it's tough to say because that laptop does get hot. Like I said, 95% of the time I'm working from home and I'm using a portable keyboard and a portable mouse, so it's not a big deal for me. And even when I go to a studio, I'm usually using a keyboard and I use a controller. If I was just producing, I'd be confident with 16 gigs of RAM. I'd be very confident with 32 gigs of RAM. I went with 64 gigs of RAM not to be able to do more in my production, but to be able to do more as a performer. I want to be able to add Max for live. I want to be able to program design for my performances. And I have a lot of confidence that I can push the limits with this laptop. I want to say yes, I would recommend it, but I think I can give you guys a better answer in 3 to 6 months. I'll keep you guys updated, so make sure you're subscribed so you can check out those future reviews and updates. So that's a wrap, but we're just getting started. There is so much coming up in the next few months. So I don't want you guys to miss out, so hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. It's your boy Cedric from SweetScale TV. I'll see you guys in the next episode.